can.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tuesday's Lunch and Learn. My name is Will. I run our customer shop here. As always, I don't think we have any pre-submitted questions today, so you can use the raise hand feature, type your question out in the chat, or put a question in the Q&A section. Adley, I see that you're in the audience. I am still trying to figure out how to answer your question from yesterday. It was proven to be more troublesome than I originally expected. I will get an answer to you today about how to pass values into a data repeater in current versions of V8. So apologies for that delay. Let me know if you have any additional questions. I'd be happy to tackle here. Okay, here we go. I have a travel request with a repeater for each traveler. That repeater takes in a passport image. However, I can't determine the correct type of the data member in the data structure. I've tried file reference, file data. Each either throws a warning on the data structure or when I try to submit the form. Okay. I would probably use file reference here. Let's we can put together a quick example of this. Just create a folder for us today, and I will let you talk if you so wish. And here's our Lunch and Learn folder for today, 6-7. All right, and let's use DR. Okay, just get myself set up here. So create a flow, form in that flow. Create a new form. Delete the grid, drag in a data repeater. Oops, what is that? Data repeater. Remove maybe. Drag in a data repeater. Pick or create a data repeater. Size of this, and I will find an image control. And here, so now we'll actually start building. So we want to use image info. We want to create a data name here, which will be called image to show. And right. So it needs to come from a data type. So let's build our data type here then.
So Will, on mine, I actually did a file upload, and maybe I explained I typed it wrong in my question.
Okay.
So is that where I started off wrong? That I'm expecting the user to upload, something they have on their device, the image of their passport, just take a picture of it and upload it here.
The upload control is on the data repeater?
Yes. So maybe that's where I started off wrong.
No, that should be fine. There's nothing that makes that not possible. I'm going to create a simple data structure here. And here I'm going to create a thing called, I'll just say email, which is a string. And let's start with, we'll just start with file data, which is, passport changes to file data. Let's get this example to work, and maybe we can work through a different example as well. Okay, so there's repeater examples. Let's go edit our repeater. And let's bind our repeater to that data type we just created in properties here, which should be under recent, which is repeater example. Right, and so we have a file upload control here. And I'll just put a label as well. This label will be the email address. Okay, and this file upload, we will bind this to passport photo, which should be fine. And then here, we will have our data be passport photo. That should be fine. What's our validation telling us here? Data name is expecting a list of bytes. That should be fine. I might be wrong there. I was wrong about data repeaters yesterday, so we'll see. So first things first, we need to have the ability to create new ones. So let's come to our database structure, repeater example, create. And we need to loop the ones we've been given in our form. So we'll loop those through a create step here. Now this will probably create duplicates, but we can account for that at a later time. So for each, our collection is going to be called, hold on. DR is what we'll name it. Passport, if we want to use the selected one. You're expecting them to load multiple passports up on one form here, just to be sure.
Yes, there'd be one passport per traveler.
Got it. Okay. So we're just gonna pass the whole list in here. I'm just trying to quickly get something set up so that I can create these as I run this flow. So item email and passport photo will be item passport. Right. And that means that I can fetch them here as well, which will be repeater example. Pass that list into passport DR. Let's see here. If I run this once, okay, no results, that's fine, because it's the first time we're running this. So debug, run, I should get my form, empty repeater control, okay? So let's quickly, our example here, and put a add button on the bottom here. And let me debug this again. Okay, I'm gonna add one here. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay, what's wrong with my add button? I have to bind this to the repeater. Doesn't say I do. I have to select it here. Add button, got it, sorry. Okay, there's add. Now I'm gonna select a file here. Take a screenshot of an error message from a, okay, and then I'm gonna submit this. Now, if I run this again, okay, I get my record, but I don't get anything in my image.
Well, and I'm not even that far yet.
Okay, where are you at, and based on where we are with this example?
So I haven't been able to get it to successfully take in the file. I can add it to the repeater, I debug, add the file, click submit, and it just I get an error message and it spins. I haven't configured the error handling just yet. So I'm not able to get the form to submit in incomplete. So I was following along with you, and I think we have the same. You use just the simple data structure, right?
Yep, exactly. And so let's see if I actually have that myself. Let me modify my example here really quick. I want to make sure I'm actually getting the image uploaded for you. I'm going to change this from a label to a text box. Bind this back to the email so I can actually take the email in. This is the world's most awful looking data repeater. They're fine. Okay. Now, if I keep this the same and run it, Xbox is empty, but if I come in here, it should create, this is going to create a new record for me almost certainly. Here's a different, and this is going to be ASDF, submit. So if I run again, I should see one with ASDF. Okay, so I'm getting some data saved in. Now, let's confirm. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, I'm going to cycle through, I'm going to for each the list and just show it in a form really quick. Just to see if I can access the image. So here's image. This will be called image data. And then I'll put a label right above it, which would be my get from data. And this will be the email address. This isn't really part of the example. I'm just trying to confirm that that file upload binding is correct. And then I'll show that to you again and we can talk through it. I'll try to make this less messy. All right, so email address, let's go to mappings here. So we're looking at item, email, and item. It really does want the image wants bytes. That's really necessary. Let's see here. Okay, so I have my two records. I'm not going to do anything and just click submit. Okay, well, let me make those not required. Just a moment. This needs to be set to optional. So optional, and this needs to be set to optional as well. Sorry, I'm still just getting the example set up here for us. Just about there, I think. Okay, boom, submit, no image, no image. Now let's go look in the database here. Let's duplicate our tab. And I'm gonna create a quick report of that data type. Let's just confirm we've got data in there. So user defined types, database structure, repeater example, and email, passport photo. All right, we've got data in there. Something wrong with our image control. We're passing in contents. Use image info as input. I don't know what that means. Is there something wrong with the image control here? Image button, image picker. I know we have an image. Let's just try something here. Just gonna see if I can't pass a static image into this control here really quickly. So email address is garbage, constant file here. I'm gonna choose a file, open. All right, now if I debug this, okay, that works. I know the data is getting saved because when I fetch these, but something's off here. I don't understand what's happening. Show path for one result here. So entity result email. Let's just add our fetch criteria. I just want to find that middle one. I think it's email. Email is ASDF. And I'm going to pass the result of that And I'm going to pass entity result passport photo bytes. Oh, maybe. Okay, that works. So it is there. What's happening here? So this tells me that my repeater, my file upload definitely worked. I was able to add that image into using the file upload control.
Okay.
So passport photo from data, passport photo contents. Let's modify this a bit here. Get rid of that validation. And let's try running this again. Let me remove my fetch criteria here so I can get all of my results. Boom. Okay. All right. So this is working. I just I wasn't considering that we can't just map the file data. We have to map the file data.contents to the data repeater. So let's look at the setup of the data repeater here now that, and let's run it one more time and I'll confirm. I'm going to add a new record and this will be called emails query. I'll select a new screenshot here and I will submit. And I'm just going to close that and rerun. And I should have another option. Oh, no, because it has to go to a create step. Sorry. Let me try that again. Boom, boom. So add a third. Birdie. Select my file. Submit, rerun. And I have my third, I actually have four now,
Yeah.
but I have my fourth one, the one I just did here. So we're agreed that this is kind of the example that you have here. Something similar.
Right.
Okay, so let's go look at how that data repeater is set up. If I edit my data repeater, so on our data type, we have two properties, right? If we look at, we created a repeater example, it really has three properties: the ID field, which we don't care about, and then the email address and the file, the file data property. Now here, this is pretty straightforward. We bound the text box data name to the email. So whatever you enter in the email gets bound to the email property of the object, this repeater example. And on our file upload, it's a normal single file upload control, and we bound its type is file data, and we mapped it to the passport photo property of type file data. The thing we had to do slightly differently is on our image control, because this thing expects a byte array, we had to do form data dot passport photo. This is where we stop on the file upload control. If I come back here and look, you'll see it's just form data passport photo.
Yeah.
And we need passport photo dot contents to show.
Okay.
And so in that way, you'll get the file data added to the record when they submit. Yeah. Does this give you something?
It does. So I've been able to get past the warning message that I had in my data structure using file data.
Yep.
Now when I submit though, I haven't yet built out the image piece. So right now I'm just trying to take this.
Okay.
Some iterations here. When I submit, I still get an error message that it can't. That's not uploading. It can't convert. Let me just debug it again real quick here.
You want me to make you a participant so you can share your screen and we can look at your stuff?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. 2 secs here. It's gonna boot you out and have you rejoin. So
Okay.
all right, Radley, you should be able to share.
All right, I'm in.
Share your screen whenever you're ready.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Just fill out some stuff here. All right. Select the file. So I have two things here. I have save flavors to let people, as they're filling out, they don't want to fill out the whole thing. They can just kind of save it. So we'll do submit for now. So there's the warning message I got. Are you able to see that okay?
Yeah, I see. We're converting a file reference to file data. Let's go look at your data type first.
Okay.
Let's look at what the setup of the data type that you have the data repeater bound to is.
Traveler.
Okay, great. So it is file data. Travel
Yeah.
passports file data. Okay, so let's go look at your data repeater.
So I do get this warning, which I didn't see that you got.
I would have gotten it.
Okay.
This is just telling you that this is going to serialize the data, which is kind of expected for file data. You're saving data into the database as a column. So you're going to save like the actual bytes of that file. And this is just telling you, hey, you can't query this stuff. Like if you ever want to run a query against this file data, you can't. It's not really meaningful for this, but like if you did a string list, you can't like query the values in a string list in the database.
Okay.
So you can, this is safe to ignore.
Okay. And then, sorry, where did you say you wanted to go?
And go look at your data repeater. And the first thing we want to look at is the configuration of your file upload on your data repeater.
Okay.
Yep. So you see how your output type there is set to file reference? You've got a tight mismatch here.
Okay.
You're saying as you've been kind of
Yeah.
going through permutations and trying different things, but
so we want file data then.
Yeah, in this example, yes, you want file data.
Just wasn't getting the right combination, I guess. I still have
Hover over, you got some validation there.
Cool. Yeah, it was required fields that I didn't fill in on a different tab. All right. Well, that's
to get you what you need.
That is, yeah, it actually submitted or it saved and went away. So that's great. Yep.
Okay. Great. I'm going to bump you back to a participant here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Will.
You bet. Happy to help. So what do I go to? Participants list. Come back. Where did it go? Analyst, Radley. D. All right, let me get my screen share back for everybody. Okay, and then let me get my other things back up here. All right, so Jeremy, you got a question here. An audit log where you can see page visit by user and when user downloaded a report. I don't know that we might have to look at like web server logs for this type of detail. I don't know that we give you access to this inside of the application itself. We have an audit function, but it tracks like data changes, not page views. And when a user downloaded a report, so you're wanting to actually see like if a user goes to a report and comes to the header and clicks download, if you could get an audit trail of those activities. I don't know. Let's go look at what our system, let's go look at our settings here. And we have audit settings here. Now,
Yeah, actually, what our auditor wants is they should be able to see on the audit trail which page that the user actually clicks. Say, for example, we created a page for them to view the assigned task, and they wanted to see on the audit trail that the user clicks there, goes there, because when we go to the audit log, what we see there is we can see the activity is viewed, except that the activity or the records in there is actually report what do you call this one, report executed, but then yeah, it doesn't actually tally to the page that they click. So yeah, when the auditor checks the logs, they don't actually quite understand how how decisions actually track all these users' activity. And also, when we check the audit logs, we can see that there's an activity, there's an updated, inserted, and deleted.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that doesn't make sense to them is the term merge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's it actually.
Okay, well, we don't give you any audit trail to track page views. You could
Mm-hmm.
track like what are the users doing on these pages? Are they like interacting with assignments or doing work? Like, or are they just looking at
Mhm.
reports?
Yes. Basically, we have created certain page for them wherein we can just actually show the reports as well as the dashboards and some charts, but they don't
Mm.
really actually perform any task on that page. It's just basically showing or reviewing the reports. So yeah, what we wanted to do is actually to create also an analytics wherein we can tell how many people are actually viewing this specific page. So that's the
Right.
reason why we thought of we looking into the audit features, whether it is tracked in there.
What version are you currently running?
We're actually on 6, but we're upgrading to version 8.
Uh, I mean, the only way I know how to grab this information is from like web server logs. Those aren't something directly available in the application. There are times where when we've been troubleshooting, we've had to look in web server logs to try to find information. And you can track you can take a session ID and you could take an account, you could use that account to map to a session ID. And then inside of these IIS or these web server logs, you could look at what are the calls that that session is made, and you can see the folders and the pages that they've run, or even the some of the flows that they might have executed. But the application itself doesn't currently track page views. We have some customers that use like Google Analytics or some other third-party tools to give them that information if they need it live. But it's not, our auditing is more data, and it's not usage, if you will. So like
Okay.
if auditing is like if I have a data type, like if with that previous example we had up Radley and someone changed an email, I could have an audit trail for that record being changed. I can keep that.
Sure, sure, got it. How about for the actions that the user perform when they downloaded a report?
Yeah, I don't think we
Like,
give you,
uh,
I don't think we track that either. That could be that could be in the IIS logs, and likely something like Google Analytics can give you that as well.
okay, sure, sure, I understand that. So,
We do have
maybe
some
I
reports, but they're not persistent. Like if you were to look in your local and you were to go to system administration, system tools, I think event viewer, there are some report activity reports here, and you can see
yes.
people that have viewed reports, but this data is not, I don't think this data is persistent. Yeah, this is like in memory data that gets cleared out. Um,
Yeah, correct, correct.
but
We
you can,
also try to
yeah,
report, yeah, but yeah, our auditor is not looking for this one. Yeah, maybe yeah, I will just try your suggestion. Maybe we can just check the IIS logs and to see whether we can capture that. But those are just actually in a text files, right?
correct. Yeah, and you
Where,
can use
yeah.
like there's like tools. We'd be happy to help. We use tools like Log Lizard and you can like write queries against those logs. So if you wanted to look for execute all reports or all pages from a certain session ID, you could do that. But you would be using some third-party tool to look at text-based logs right now.
Okay, sure, sure. I'll be happy to try that approach. Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much for
Can I
answering
ask
my
you? Can I
question.
ask you what company you work with?
I'm working with Activans from Singapore.
Okay, gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd be happy to explore this more if you want to get a hold of, Claire or Missy or whoever your channel rep might be.
Yeah.
And talk. This is probably a more detailed conversation, but right now we definitely don't give you insight into page views in the product in any sort of auditing capacity, at least not that
Yeah,
I'm
sure,
aware
sure,
of.
got it. Yeah, sure, got it. Maybe I will just contact Missy again to try to get contact with you also to
Sure,
discuss this.
happy. I'd be happy to talk about this in more detail.
Sure, sure. Thank you, thank you.
You bet. Happy to help. Anybody else have any questions for us this afternoon? Rue, what time do we usually get these uploaded? Sometime in the next 2 to 3 hours, I would assume, if not sooner.
Yes, they're usually uploaded by 3, 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Anybody last call here? We're about 30 minutes in. So any last questions before we call it a day? Once, going twice. Okay. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Maru, who do we have for Thursday or Wednesday and Thursday this week?
Oh, goodness. Tomorrow, let me see. Gosh. Just a second. Tomorrow we have Cameron Irby, and on Thursday we have Akshay.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. Thanks everybody. Have a great week, and I will see you back here next week.